ladies and gentlemen, if we could go ahead and get started. We have a very tight schedule today. If I can get council and commissioners to be over here in the peanut gallery, that would be great. This is the only time where the elected officials don't get to say a word all day long. All right, let's go ahead and get started with the Pledge of Allegiance, and the flag is right over there. If you could join with me. All right, today is a historic day in that this is the very first ever strategic visioning plan for the new city of Wildomar, and you are going to be the co-authors of that document. We have a very tight time frame. There's a lot of work to do. It's very interactive, and it's all generated by you. Some of you have noticed that there's some topics up here. Those are simply idea starters. Those are not meant to say that's what we're going to be talking about. You're going to be deciding what we talk about. In fact, I think there might have been some misinformation in the paper recently saying that you're going to be able to ask council members questions about things or talk about marketing or something like that, and that's not what we're doing at all. This is a totally community-based opportunity to talk about what's important to you. Things that might be what you want Wildomar to be. Maybe it's things you want Wildomar to not be. Maybe there's attributes or ideas that you've been thinking about and that you want to share. And we're going to be very interactive today, so I really encourage you you're with friends and family and neighbors here, so there's nothing to be shy about. And to get us started here today, I'd like to do something, a little opening exercise. I know a lot of you know just about everybody in the room, but I bet you there's someone in this room that you don't know. And for me, there's lots in the room that I don't know. So what I'd like you to do, we're only going to do this for 5 minutes, I'd like you to introduce yourself by first name to someone you don't know and tell them one thing about yourself that they wouldn't be able to tell. Don't tell them how long you've lived here. Don't tell them what your job is. Tell them something interesting about you. And it will be an anchor point that your brain will remember. So take 5 minutes to introduce yourself to someone you don't know.
Freeway, we took the, the old...
Oh, hey, that was early. The freeway came until...
Well, I guess any concerns I had about this being a shy crowd is off the table. So that's fun. Hopefully you got to meet someone new. A couple of housekeeping things. The men's and women's restrooms are in the back through those double doors. Coffee and muffins and snacks are available all morning long leading up to lunchtime, so if you need to go get something to drink or something to nibble on, feel free. It's very casual. Also, this is a smoke-free campus, so there's no smoking anywhere on campus. You actually have to go out to the street if you're going to light one up. And would everybody take a look at their cell phone? I guarantee you it'll still go off. Would you look at your cell phone and make sure it's off, please? Okay, what is strategic visioning and what the heck does it mean and why are we doing it? Let's start off with Webster's dictionary and say what does strategic mean? Of great importance to a planned effect. I really love this definition here because it talks about you're planning something specifically. It's not an organic happening. It didn't happen just because, it sort of happened the way a few years ago and then we don't really remember why it got there. Strategic means of great importance to a planned effect or a planned outcome. How about visioning? Webster says, the power of imagination. And that's a really powerful concept. The power of what you can think about connected to an unusual discernment or foresight. So not only what you can imagine, but how clearly can you imagine that? So putting those all together, slowly, strategic visioning could be defined as the ability to see exceptionally clearly, the power to imagine what could be, and the importance of planning how you reach your goals. So that's what we're here to do today. That's what you're going to be doing. How clearly can you think? How large can you imagine? How audacious can you make your goals? What does this community look like? Where are we going? One of the outcomes of this is that there's going to be a tremendous amount of data that's created by your thinking, and we're going to have some breakout sessions later on. Is from that data, we're going to try to compile a journal or a record of how this all turned out, and you're all going to be co-authors of that. So what you say, what you do today is going to be recorded. For a number of years now, I've taught a class in sort of personal business development. It's very interesting. I went to Seattle and got certified in doing it. And there's some real interesting concepts that have come out of personal development and how they relate to how groups think and how businesses think. A lot of that research actually came out of Stanford. And one of the things is, this may sound like a silly concept, but psychologists now say they can clinically prove that you are exactly who you think you are. Does that make sense? You're exactly the person that you think you are. It's a powerful statement when you think about it. If you think that you're a positive person, you probably are a positive person. So having clinically proven that, is it possible that groups can be exactly who they think they are? Scientists say yes. Research shows that is that, particularly you can take a look at prison populations and you get a group think going about what happens, what's acceptable behavior, what they do in there. That's exactly who they are. It's an important concept when you begin to think about your community. How you think about Wildemar, how you think about relationships, how you think about the quality of life here is profoundly affected by what your personal thinking about is, and then you get into group thought. You ever been to a community that's not a very nice community? Do the residents describe them as being a nice community? Probably not. They probably have a very negative thought. So what we're going to try to do today is to see if we can get on a positive light in a positive direction of where we go and how we think about this community, and are we going to create something that we're proud of, or are we going to find negativity? Now, I'm not trying to be an idea assassin here too. Things will come up today, that aspects of the community that you either don't like or you don't want it to go in that direction, and that's important to talk about too, because you can't solve something if you don't identify the problems. But remember that in terms of groupthink, that if we think positively, we'll go a lot further in getting to solutions.